Hi everyone, today in this video we're going to be talking about the body's defences, thinking about the way that your body can help to protect itself against disease from the invasion of pathogens, but then also once pathogens invade your body, how the body tries to protect itself or to repair itself, and then also other ways that your body can help to develop immunity against different diseases. So let's go through a bit of the overview to start with. First of all, we're going to look at the body's first line of defense, which is protection against invasion, trying to stop pathogens from getting inside your body in the first place. From there, we're going to look at the concept of innate immunity, or a way that your body can help to protect itself once a pathogen has invaded, so a general kind of response, that to try and take out the invader as early as possible. We'll look at the concept of adaptive immunity, how your body can actually develop immunity to a particular pathogen to help protect you in the future. And then looking at the concept of immunization, a way that we can develop immunity artificially. So, for us is to be able to develop an immunity to a disease before we've even caught it. So we'll start with the concept of protection. So essentially, our body wants to prevent pathogens from invading in the first place. It's easiest to defend against it before they even come in. It's like thinking about the analogy of an army that protects a country. So a country maintaining strong borders against a potential invader helps to maintain the safety of everybody inside. And so there are certain ways, for this first line of defense that the body can do that. The first way is by using skin. So your skin is a fantastic barrier that your body has against the pathogens invading. It's thick, tough, and flexible. So it's able to maintain the integrity, to kind of contain the inside of the rest of your body, but still, it's not rigid or really easily broken for it's the structure that it has. It also has a water-resistant oil coating, so you don't swell up like a sponge as soon as you go in water. Over time, your skin does absorb water, which is why you get that pruny look after you've been in the bath or in the pool for a while. But it does have that oil coating that helps to keep bacteria out. But it is vulnerable at openings, so around your eyes, your mouth, your nose. So think about your ears, and in your genital area. It is also vulnerable if you get a cut. One of the reasons that we'd put a band-aid on or bandage a wound that you might have is to prevent the possibility of pathogens invading. You don't want to get an infection at that site. So, you might use an antiseptic kind of cream or a chemical to be able to kill bacteria, and then you protect it in the same way your skin does. That's also what happens when you form a scab over a wound. That's your body's way of helping to protect the rest of you while the inside of that wound heals. So the scab forms first. So public service announcement, don't pick scabs. Secondly, we have mucus. It's pretty disgusting when you have a cold and you've got a constantly dripping runny nose. I have 3 children, believe me, I clean up my fair share of mucus. But the idea here is that mucus helps to protect you. Mucus it helps to protect tissue. It helps to keep things moist and functioning effectively when there has been an invasion, but also to protect it from invasion. It helps to trap pathogens for removal because it's thick and sticky, so that it means that they can't, those bacteria or the viruses are unable to progress any further. So it's released from the cell and helps to trap things on the surface. And inside your airway, that you also have these little hairs called cilia, which help to actually move that mucus along. That's one reason why if you've got a cold or if you've got perhaps a chest infection or something that's going on inside your airways, that you will cough up a lot of phlegm or a lot of mucus, that it's actually your body's way of trapping them for removal and then for disposal. So typically we're thinking about inside the nose, the trachea, and the esophagus, so your airway in particular, but there's also in the vagina as well, in the female reproductive system for the same reason. We also have acidic environments in certain places, so typically your stomach. For women, it's also inside the vagina. It's all about creating a harsh environment that would kill any bacteria that are able to get inside the body. If they get past the skin, through an opening, or they don't get trapped in the mucus, that then an acidic environment will help to kill them because most pathogens can't survive. Okay, so those are some of the ways that your body protects itself before a pathogen invades. But once the pathogen's invaded, it needs a way to help defend itself. So here we have the concept of innate immunity. So your immune system. So here you can, over on the right, you can see a diagram of some of the key features of your immune system that help to work to protect you and keep you safe. So essentially, the immune system, innate immunity, provides a rapid response to an invader. As soon as that enemy has invaded, that then your body is right onto it. So because you don't want that to linger around to be able to harm you. So some of the things that are a part of innate immunity, we would have inflammation. So that's kind of swelling and that hot kind of painful feeling that you might have at a place where there's been a wound. The formation of white blood cells to help to clean up any pathogens. And also a fever, that all over body kind of high temperature sort of response. They're parts of innate immunity. So we call innate immunity your second line of defense. Okay, so inflammation. So there's quite a few different things that happen in this. We'll go through it just fairly quickly and briefly. But so essentially, if there is cells that have become damaged, we get this kind of triggering, this message that gets sent so chemical signals that get passed along into the blood that help to bring on this inflammation response. Okay, and so we call that histamine typically. Swelling is one thing that happens. So we get lots of fluid that moves into the area, lots of extra blood flow. So the area, it swells up and it also goes red from all that increased blood flow. Because we get more blood flow, the temperature of the area increases, so it can feel hot to the touch. And so that helps to take care of those pathogens at that spot before they have the chance to spread. If they do have a chance to spread, or as your body's kind of overall way to try and take out pathogens, we also have a fever. Now, you get a fever, but it's actually your body's way of trying to protect you. It's not actually the action of the bacteria or the virus that's doing it. So it's a whole body temperature increase. So your body selectively raises, the body raises and then lowers your body temperature and kind of comes and goes in waves as a way to try and kill pathogens, make it harder for them to survive. And then once it gets to a point at which it's a certain amount of protection has been had, then we say that the fever breaks, that the temperature starts to come down. So it's not selective. It's just trying to make the environment as harsh as possible so pathogens are unable to survive. But so your body also needs a way to more selectively take out the pathogen, to actually kill the cells cell by cell. And so we have white blood cells. So white blood cells exist inside your blood. There's a whole range of different types. So you can see some examples here based on their appearance or kind of the way that the cell is structured. They're given particular names. Lymphocytes is kind of the one that we're going to focus on a little bit more because they're a bit more active in the immune system. Their white blood cells, like all blood cells, are produced in your bone marrow, so the area inside your long bones, like your femur and your humerus, and so they're responsible for attacking and killing pathogens. There's one particular type of white blood cell called a macrophage that we're going to focus on for a second because its sole job is to kill and destroy pathogens. Macrophage, the name means big eater, and so its job is to swallow and destroy pathogens. So you can see in the diagram down here that if we've got some viruses represented by the orange circles, that the macrophage comes along and it swallows it up, that virus goes inside the cell, and there's a structure inside the cell called a lysosome. So it's like the cutting body is what that name means. So it's a little packet of chemicals that basically latches onto the virus, breaks it down, and then the cell has a way to eject the waste material for disposal. That typically ends up being disposed in the form of pus that you might see at a wound. Again, pus is your body's way of protecting you. It's a bad sign, but it's in and of itself is not actually a bad thing because it means that your body's immune system is looking after you. Then we come to the concept of adaptive immunity. What happens when this protection is either not enough or your body wants to protect itself against it in the future? So that if it was a particularly bad infection, that you will be protected if you come across it again. So in this section, we're looking at this top kind of branch, these sort of branches of this diagram that you see here. So adaptive immunity is a slower response. It's your body's way of protecting itself after the fact, typically, and it can be either naturally acquired or artificially acquired. So naturally acquired, where it's just as part of your normal body process that you can actually, that you develop the cells that help to protect you in the future. Passive is where you might get it from your mother during pregnancy, so it helps to protect you as a young baby. Active is where you've actually been infected with that thing in the past and then your body responds. Artificial is where we actually encourage the body to develop this immunity. Passive by the transfer of what we call antibodies, these things that help to trigger the right response. And then also active adaptive immunity is the concept of immunization. And we're going to cover that towards the end of the video. So we call this the third line of defense. Okay, everyone, so that concludes this video. In the next video, we'll talk through how we can actually acquire immunity. So talk about the concept of vaccination or immunization and how our body builds immunity. All right, thanks for watching. Bye for now.